You know, it feels like we're living in the age of the influencer, right? They're everywhere, filling our feeds, recommending stuff, and building these massive empires right from their living rooms. But have you ever just stopped and wondered what's actually going on in our heads when we watch them?
Come on, be honest. Has this ever happened to you? You're just chilling, watching a video, maybe a Get Ready With Me or a tech review, and then boom, suddenly you're on Amazon adding that exact same thing to your cart? It feels totally like your own idea. But is it, really?
Okay, so to get a sense of how big this is, look at this number, $15 billion. That's how much businesses were on track to spend on influencer marketing in just 1 year, back in 2022. That's not just a trend. That's a gigantic global industry built entirely on the power of a friendly recommendation. So yeah, this is way more than just popular people showing off cool stuff. It's a really sophisticated psychological engine running behind the scenes. And today, we're going to pop the hood based on a really fascinating study and figure out the science of how this whole thing works. It taps into something way deeper than you might think.
All right, so to figure this out, let's start with the basics. The usual suspects, you could say. Why do we listen to anyone? A doctor, a financial advisor, or yeah, a YouTuber talking about a new video game.
You know, for the longest time, the thinking here was pretty straightforward. For someone to be persuasive, you needed two key things. First, you have to trust them, believe they're being honest. And second, you have to believe they're an expert, that they actually know what they're talking about. Honesty plus knowledge. Simple enough, right?
And look, those things are absolutely important, don't get me wrong. But here's where it gets really interesting. The study we're diving into found that trust and expertise are just part of the story. They're actually overshadowed by something else. Something way more powerful and kind of weird. And that right there, that is the secret ingredient. It's this powerful, almost invisible force that makes influencer marketing so effective. Psychologists have a name for it, a parasocial relationship.
So what is that? Well, to put it simply, it's a one-sided friendship. You feel like you know them, right? You get their jokes, you know their opinions, you might even know what they had for breakfast. You feel this real connection. But they have no idea who you are. To them, you're just a username.
Now, this idea isn't actually new. It was first talked about way back in 1956 to describe how people felt about movie stars or radio hosts. But social media? Oh, it threw gasoline on that fire. All the daily vlogs, the Instagram stories, the replies to comments, it blurs the lines and creates this incredibly powerful illusion of a real two-way friendship. Okay, so if this one-sided friendship is the goal, how do influencers actually build it? What's the recipe? Well, this study identified 3 specific attributes that are the building blocks for creating that feeling of connection. Let's get into them.
And here they are, the 3 core ingredients: attitude, homophily, physical attractiveness, and social attractiveness. Now I know, that first one sounds super academic, a real mouthful, but stick with me because it's actually really simple and it's key to this whole thing. Attitude, homophily. All that really means is that feeling of, hey, this person is just like me. It's when an influencer shares your sense of humor, or your values, or your general outlook on the world. That feeling of similarity is the foundation of the bond.
Next up is attractiveness, and this is super important, the study splits it into 2 different types. First, there's the one we all think of, physical attractiveness, how someone looks. But then there's social attractiveness, which might be even more powerful. This is all about their personality, their vibe. Are they friendly, funny? Are they someone you'd actually want to grab a coffee with?
Okay, so check out this diagram from the study. It pulls everything together perfectly. Over on the left, you've got those 3 ingredients we just talked about. They're like me, they're physically attractive, and they're socially attractive. Those flow into our brains and create the feelings you see on the right. Our sense of their trust, their expertise, and the big one, that parasocial relationship, that one-sided friendship. All right, so we've laid out all the pieces. We have the attributes that influencers project, and we have the feelings those attributes create in us. But now we get to the bottom line, the $15 billion question. When it really comes down to it, when you're hovering over that Buy Now button, which feeling is doing the heavy lifting? Is it our logical brain saying, yep, I trust them, they're an expert? Or is it that gut feeling, that emotional connection to our internet friend? What do you think? Well, the results from the study are, and I'm not exaggerating, kind of mind-blowing. Look at this chart. That bar for the one-sided friendship, it's not just a little bit bigger. It absolutely dwarfs the others. It is, by far, the most powerful force.
I mean, let that sink in for a second. According to this research, that emotional feeling of friendship was more than twice as powerful as our logical belief that the influencer was an expert. Twice! It turns out our heart is really calling the shots for our wallet. That's just wild.
So here's the big takeaway. The crucial point is this. We tell ourselves we're making a rational choice. We buy from people we trust, from people who are experts, but what this research suggests is that underneath it all, we're really just buying from our friends.
And that's really the question I want to leave you with. Now that you know the science, now that you can see the engine, take a scroll through your own feed. Think about the people you follow, the creators you really listen to, and ask yourself, who is your most persuasive friend?